let's start with Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel because it's kind of the odd one out of all the things we're talking about here today. Do you want to give your thoughts first, or do you want me to go ahead?
Um. Well,
What do you like? What don't you like? Is it everything you ever imagined for a competitive Yu-Gi-Oh game?
um, yes and no. It isn't everything that I imagined it was going to be for a competitive Yu-Gi-Oh game because it doesn't have all of the cards that it should. Um, because we were just going over this the other day. When I was trying to find support for my deck, and I couldn't find it, and turns out it's not in the game.
What was
But they
that
just
card?
it
That
was the Red Eyes Alternative Dragon.
yeah, that's right.
But yeah, that card's not in the game. But they have other cards that are banned that are in the game, like what was it, Dark Dragoon Dragon?
Yeah, that one. Yep.
Like I think that that's a little bit of a weird kind of thought process to put banned cards in the game before cards that aren't banned. Um, that's something I'm not super fond of. I do love how open it is for everything else. Like you have a lot of they just have so many ways to get cards and uh like so they have so many packs.
Yeah.
Man, there's just a lot to even think about with this because like
Well,
one
like
thing that this was kind of a personal like hope for me that they didn't put in the game, so I can't really like I kind of can take it knock them for it, but I also kind of can't. Tag duels aren't in this game still.
yeah,
I was really hoping for that because that was when
fun.
you have a lot of friends and
Yeah.
everybody wants to play,
Even if it
that's
doesn't
a
necessarily
really
make the most sense. Yeah.
no, like it even back then it didn't make a lot of sense. Like
No.
it was just fun, chaotic, you know. Um another thing that I don't really like about the game is I feel like the amount of money that you would have to spend to get gems and how many gems you get for the amount that you spend is not enough at all. Like you spend what? Like it would be like what, $80 for 30 packs or something like that. Like that's like almost like real world like uh I don't even like what's the
Like currency, or what do you mean? What are you trying to say
like
exactly?
it'd be like the same as real world. Like you buy like 30 packs, you'd be end up spending like $80. So it'd
Something
be
like
like
that. Yeah.
yeah, it'd be right in the same vein. So it's just like it seems a little strange that that they are charging basically the same amount as like you would for digital cards as you would for like real cards.
Yeah. Although it doesn't surprise me, but
Yeah, no, it doesn't
it's.
surprise me. It just sucks.
I will say, I think so. I really liked. If you're a seasoned veteran, okay. Let's start with this. We'll get to like we'll do a two-part review here. We'll talk about the kind of the microtransaction card pack opening side, and then we'll talk about the duels themselves. I'm just gonna say right now, solo mode. It has some card lore. It's okay. Personally, I don't find it to be the most interesting thing. I don't like using loner decks.
Yeah, loner decks are the worst part for me,
Yeah.
especially because it's different every single time. Which some people love. I'm not really one of those people that love it that much because it's so hard to keep jumping between different like deck styles. Like if you do the whole thing, you play the loner deck, which you have to learn on the fly, and then
Yeah.
and then like if you do the next one right away, you're gonna be playing as your deck. So it's just like you're hopping back and forth, so you're gonna get confused eventually with
Yeah.
what you're trying to do.
It's just so I'm not gonna give a full review on the solo mode. I'm just gonna say that basically, so it's not garbage. And I do like the card lore as minimal as it is, but it's just it feels like a way. It feels like, oh shit, I'm out of gems. I have to go into solo mode to get more.
Yeah,
It's not
there isn't any other ways to earn gems
besides ranked, but
besides
okay,
ranked.
so let's jump into let's jump into the card pack opening part here. So it's not. I don't think it's terrible. I know a lot of people who haven't played in years are really lost as to like, what do I do? How do I start? And
That's true. Yeah, we
now,
have a friend who's like that.
yeah, so there's tons like that, and because of that, they feel like they wasted all these like gems, and that's why I was like, so for me, this was not an issue because I was like, I knew immediately it's a free-to-play game. I got to try to manage, to not spend money somehow, although I don't mind spending a little bit because it's free. Like, once you get past $60, that's when I start to be like, okay, I'm paying for a full game here, so let's,
Yeah.
Yep. I did spend $15, but I didn't have to. Just keep in mind, I did that for fun. Like, I didn't need to spend $15 to get my hero deck. That's what I made. I knew immediately, I was like, I need to make a hero deck because that's what I know. I'm good with hero decks. And then I was like, and then I will earn the gems through that deck. And so far, that has proved true. I actually did manage to make a second deck today, not including the extra deck. But I made a second deck today, and I've only spent $15, and I spent that $15 more for fun. That being said, yes, the microtransaction system, it's not necessarily predatory, but I don't necessarily know if they do like a great job being like, hey, if you're new to this, maybe try making this archetype. They kind of give beginners some, tools to be these like the legacy pack.
Yeah, they make you buy structure decks. Like,
Yeah,
that's one of the things they do. Instead of like giving you a thing where you can, have a structured deck instead of the starter deck, you have to buy with crystals.
Yeah, I think what would have been really nice, it would have been super generous of them, is if they let instead of having like a starter deck or something, which I understand that's kind of the tradition with these games.
Oh, I think I know where you're going here with this.
If they would have just given people the option, be like, your first, 100 cards are free. Because you have to keep in mind this. So I understand this is supposed to be a replacement for Yugioh Pro. And basically, because of that, the number one thing you want out of everybody is to be competitive. This is for people to get into the competitive Yu-Gi-Oh scene so that eventually Konami and Yu-Gi-Oh, the franchise itself, can make more money because they want more people to be involved in the competitive part. They already said that this game is going to have like preliminary rounds for Yu-Gi-Oh World Championships and stuff like that. So they're going to have tournaments in this game, just like, Fortnite would or something like that. So yeah. I would have personally been like, you want to be competitive? Give everybody their first 100 cards for free. That way they can make a competitive deck they want and then go from there. Because you're still going to get money out of the microtransactions either way, and everybody would have been a little bit happier. That being said, opening packs in this game is super addicting. Like, once you get like 5,000 gems, you're just like, you open one pack, unlock a bunch of other packs, open another pack, unlock a bunch of other, and then my first like 3 hours of this game, I swear 2.5 hours was spent opening booster packs.
It's a fucking rabbit hole that you go down.
So I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to add to that, like the card opening system. Obviously, there's little things you can get like accessories and dual fields and stuff. Those are great, but they need more of them. But understandably, it's a free-to-play game. It's day one. They're gonna have more. I'm not worried about that stuff.
This is just as the game is currently.
Right. In terms of the actual dueling, obviously it's just Yu-Gi-Oh. But I will say about the dueling, I'll give a little kind of mini review of that stuff in my personal opinion. I like the duel fields. I like the little effects. I like that you have a little like friend monster who kind of watches the duel on the side. There's just a lot of little kind of attention to detail things that are really neat.
A lot of little monetary things that they can start capitalizing on.
Well, and it's just it creates
cool
a
too.
Customized, unique experience for people, although there's just not enough of it yet, but there will be. And then, the atmosphere and the music of the game is very different from anything like we've seen in Yu-Gi-Oh! It reminds me, I hate to say it, but it reminds me of like a Magic the Gathering type of thing. So this does not have like the characters from the show and stuff like that. It's hardcore competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! And they play like this like, I don't know how to describe it, but this like old-timey, almost medieval-sounding music, maybe even in the vein of Yu-Gi-Oh! Egyptian kind of sounding to an extent. Maybe I don't know if I have.
I can see where you're coming from with that.
Yeah, whatever. But
it's very reminiscent of like, it makes it feel like you're actually there instead of it being like based on the TV show where it's kind of like, hey, I know where this is from.
It is a unique Yu-Gi-Oh! Experience for sure. It is very competitive hardcore though, and it's a very like oddly atmospheric one. because there's no like voice acting or weird. I'm so used to playing Yu-Gi-Oh games and like Kaiba popping up and be like, "This is my blue eye." This is
Yeah.
no. It's just literally just like this makes it feel like there's no TV show or something like that. So it's kind of
Yeah.
cool. I like it though. As much as I like that stuff too, there's a place for those games, right? So now they have both. I think they achieved what they wanted. And if there's any consolation as to some of the complaints people have when in terms of the microtransactions and whatever, like solo mode. Today, for shits and giggles, I took the survey. Konami, I think they're the ones that developed this, right? I know they own Yu-Gi-Oh! Whoever developed this, they know that this stuff was coming. They probably had an idea. They did some tests or something, because I took that survey, and the survey questions were very
Specific towards the things that they thought would be controversial.
well, they're very like what how do I describe it? The opposite of tone deaf. They know exactly what some of the issues were probably going to be going into this, because if you look at some of the questions, some of the questions are like, do you enjoy secret packs? Do you think the card animations are too fast? How are the controls in solo mode? How are the controls in the main menu? How are the controls during the duels? Do you enjoy the rank system? Do you enjoy the duel pass? Do you feel like they didn't ask this question specifically, but they ask a lot of things along the veins of, do you feel like you have to spend money to be competitive, or do you feel like you can be competitive right away? Because once again, yes, they want your money, but they do want people to be competitive. So, I mean, because that's going to get more money in the long run by keeping people involved in this. They don't want to turn people away from this. So they did actually ask, one of the questions was something like, are you like, do you feel like you can take on people in ranked duels with what we kind of give you at the beginning and stuff like that? And I think most people would be like, the answer is no, even for me. So it took a while to get my hero deck, right? It took a whole day. So they know this stuff.
Yeah.
But
they really released the game and then was like, do you guys like it or no?
Yeah, basically.
It's no.
Yeah. I love it so far, personally. I can understand some of the old school players having some issues, but
yeah, because this game is very geared towards people who are straight away like caught up to how all of the game works, as opposed to them like slowly like eking these older players or people who have never even played the game in the first place. I guess I should say they don't really do a great job of teaching you how everything works in the game without going into like solo mode. And even then with solo mode, they don't teach you how cards work, they teach you how archetypes work.
Yeah. Anyways, do you have any other thoughts on Yu-Gi-Oh?
Well, I mean, basically the exact same as you. Like, I love the game, but I do have a couple gripes with it. But it's very early in this game's life, so I'm sure that they're going to do some tweaking, hopefully, to make it more appealing to players,
Casuals especially. That's where they're